Hi, hi everybody. Finally, I'm here. It has been such a. Oh, tell me about it. Hi, it's me, Joan, and we are here again on Reading with Joan. And I'm here with two munchies. Oh, they are not munchies, they are human beings. Two girls. Oh, look at that teeth. Oh my God. So, what's the name?
Big J.
And what's the name?
Little J.
So I have Big J and Little J. They are my co-hosts. And today we have our wonderful guest from, guess what? Oh, it's on the screen. Oh, no, let's not get it again. From Zambia. We have our lovely brother from Zambia. He's going to be telling us everything you want to know about Zambia. Girls, are you ready to pounce him with questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now we are going to get him on, and Eddie is going to tell us everything about Zambia. We're going to compare Zambia and me because I'm always comparing. You know, I'm the comparing one. So they are the learning one and they are questioning ones. So Eddie, we are inviting Eddie to come on board, and so welcome, Eddie.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Right. My name is Eddie Mwiinga, based in Scotland, but I hail from the beautiful country of Zambia, in the southern part of Africa. I don't know what else I need to say about myself.
Oh, you already have a question. Oh my God. Oh, yeah, come on.
Not a question. I
What?
just want to say something.
What?
So, like, you know the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere.
Uh-huh.
He's from the southern hemisphere.
Exactly. He's from the southern hemisphere. Oh, come on. So Eddie's from the southern hemisphere. So Eddie, would you want to tell us briefly about Gambia, the landscape?
Zambia.
It's Zambia.
Huh?
He said Gambia.
I said Zambia.
We already have Gambia.
I said Zambia. Huh?
You said Gambia.
Yeah, did I say Gambia? Okay,
Yes,
so
I
Zambia. Okay, Zambia. Slip of tongue. They are so listening so well that they can pick on anything I say. So please tell us about Zambia, colonialism, the general things that we need to know. Just facts about Gambia.
Okay, Zambia.
Again! Oh my God! Zambia. I need to say that. Zambia. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, as I said, Zambia is in the southern part of Africa, and Little J said we are, of course, in the southern hemisphere. Zambia is what you'd call a landlocked country, which means that it is surrounded by a lot more other countries. You can't go from a sea or an ocean straight into Zambia.
So that's similar to Uganda.
Yes, I think so. We are surrounded by, I want to say, 9 countries. And the people of Zambia, all of the people of Zambia are from the Bantu-speaking people. I don't know how much you know about that, but these are people who believed have helmed from the western part of Africa and came down south and all other parts of Africa.
So they are from people around the Congo region?
No, further west a bit. History tells us that actually they helmed from around Nigeria and Cameroon there and came down south. And some of them settled in the Congo, and others went further down. So what you realize is that all the countries that actually surround Zambia, you find that we've got relatives. Essentially, the languages that are spoken in Zambia can be spoken in these other countries as well. Zambia is unique in that who wants to guess how many languages we have? How many local languages we have in Zambia?
A lot.
A lot. That's a good guess.
That's a way of running from the answer.
I think you have like one or no, not one, but like 7.
7? I think I read that you have like 72 something tribes, or is it 72 something tribes or 20 something languages? Am I wrong?
You are right. We got 73 tribal languages. And the reason I can speak English is because way back then, Zambia was actually colonized by the British Empire.
Ah,
The people that colonized that part of Africa, it was done by initially by the British South African Company, which was run by a guy called John Cecil Rhodes. So John Cecil Rhodes had wanted to take control of Africa. He had this thing called From Cape to Cairo. So he wanted to take charge of all of that region from the Cape in South Africa all the way to Egypt, right? And so when they colonized these countries, Zambia and Zimbabwe, what you now call Zimbabwe, are called Rhodesia.
yeah, I know
Yes,
that. Rhodesia, yeah.
Rhodesia, that is named after Rhodes, Cecil Rhodes.
Yeah.
Zambia was what was called Northern Rhodesia, and Zimbabwe was
Southern.
Southern Rhodesia. Um,
And you're linked by this river.
yes, I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
So when we got our independence, we decided we are going to name ourselves by a very important landmark. We've got a powerful river that actually starts from the northwestern side of Zambia. It's called the Zambezi River.
Yeah.
So Zambia is named after that river, Zambia,
Yeah.
from the Zambezi. And so we got our independence on 24th of October, 1964. Right?
That's Nigeria was 1960, so like 4 years after us.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And we've got some wonderful things in Zambia. I've mentioned the River Zambezi. The River Zambezi is one of the longest rivers in Africa, probably second or third after the Nile.
Yeah.
It comes all the way from Zambia. It goes through to Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and goes all the way into the Indian Ocean.
Does it pass through Botswana?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
And
Now,
then,
I think you also part of the countries that has Lake Victoria. Am I right?
no, Victoria is further away to the north. The lake that we share with Tanzania is Lake Tanganyika.
Yeah, I know there is a lake around that area. So
Yes.
do you have, is Tanganyika, is it named after Tanzania or named, where does the name come from?
I'm not sure. I want to believe that Tanzania is named after Tanganyika, but you'd have to ask a Tanzanian about that.
Maybe you introduce me to my next guest, who is going to be a Tanzania. You must have a Tanzanian friend that you introduce me to, because I'm really looking forward to finding out that.
Yeah, I can speak to one. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. And so, girls, now that we have a brief idea about my head, and my head is already filled imagining everything there.
Can I tell you one other very important fact?
Yes, please.
About Zambia. You know, people from Zimbabwe will tell you that in Zimbabwe there's this big falls called the Victoria Falls.
Yes.
But actually, the Victoria Falls is on the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe.
Oh, that is the one that was named after Queen Victoria.
Yes.
By the colonial guy.
Exactly.
Oh.
The African name for that falls is Mos Oatunya.
I think we should rename it Mosratunya. It shouldn't be called Lake Victoria. Yes. Today I'm going to revolt.
Mosotunya means the smoke that thunders.
Ooh.
Because when you go to the falls, as the water is going down, there's so much of the water that comes from there that looks like as if it's smoke. Actually, from a distance, you can see actually clouds forming and it's so white. So it looks like smoke. So Mosotunya means the smoke that thunders. And on the Zambian side, the Victoria Falls is in a town called Livingstone, named after the Scottish explorer Dr.
Yeah,
David
David
Livingstone.
Livingstone.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the question I have is the smoke that comes up, is it as a result of the mix between hot and cold water? Because there's a fall in Nigeria like that. I can't remember the name of the fall. That when it comes out, if it comes out, there is a mix between cold and warm water. Is that the reason why there is a bit of steamy smoke coming out from there?
No, actually, it's because, as the Zambezi falls, right, it falls into a valley, right?
Okay.
So there's a very steep gorge that it falls into. So
Okay.
as the water is falling down, because there's so much water falling down, and then when it reaches on the ground there, the steam, that comes out of there, it looks like smoke.
Oh, that's interesting, man. I'm looking forward to travel to Zambia to go to this fall, because I think since I started this program, I've been interested in going to some of the Southern African countries to see all those pictures for myself. So very soon, girls will become explorers going to Africa, right?
No, you should visit the Victoria Falls. We went there 2 years ago. It's phenomenal. It's breathtaking. There's a small bridge which called the Knife Bridge, which you actually walk across and you can see the falls from there. You get soaked just from the water coming there. It's a surreal experience.
I'm already dreaming about it, and I think that's one of the reasons why we started this program, so that a lot of people will realize that Africa is more than poverty. That there is beauty in Africa, there is riches in Africa, there's a history that comes with Africa that we are proud of, and we want the whole world to know. And not just the whole world, we want our children to be proud of where they came from, and to look forward to going there, to look forward to traveling with their friends, to say, oh, you need to go on holiday, let's go together, that kind of thing. And I'm really proud to be an African, and I'm here to say, look, come and visit us, come and check out Lake Victoria, come to Lake Tanganyika. Am I pronouncing it? I'm pronouncing it well. And so thank you so much. So who's going to ask the first question today?
Me.
Okay, Jay. You asked first last week. Yeah, Little Jay.
I want to ask about food.
Oh, about food. So tell us about your food in Zambia.
Okay, right. In Zambia, the staple food is maize, and there is maize is dried and made into a meal, right?
Yeah.
And then it's cooked into what I would describe as a hard porridge, right? I think it's a bit like fufu in West Africa.
Yep.
Except fufu is made from yam.
Fufu is made from cassava.
Cassava, right? Okay,
yeah.
Actually, that's
amala is made out of yam. So there's a white one that is made out of yam called lafun.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, she don't know. You don't have a clue. Don't worry.
What's interesting is that in the northern part of Zambia,
yeah,
instead of using maize, they actually use cassava to make that thing. So that's the staple food. That's the main thing that people eat. We call it inshima.
Inshima.
Yeah.
Is it that similar to what Zimbabweans and Uganda eat? What's it called?
Salsa.
Is it similar salsa?
Exactly.
But it's just called a different name.
Yes, just called salsa. Salsa is a Shona name.
Oh, Shona's the one.
In Zimbabwe. In Zambia, because of the many different languages, it's called Nsima, it's called Wali, it's called Buhove, but the generic name that we are taught in school, which was kind of put in English, is Inshima.
Inshima.
How do you spell it?
How do you spell it?
So Inshima, you'd say Nshima.
Okay, Inshima. Okay, right. Because I'm typing it on Facebook, so
yeah.
Is it N
on autocorrect?
Okay. Yeah. Is it MIS? No.
No, NSI.
MSI.
No. It start with N S
N. N.
N. Yeah, for
N.
November.
SI. Okay.
NSH.
NSHIMA.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But even if you
Yeah,
miss,
got it.
but even if you miss the H, it's still the same thing.
All right. Okay. So good. Good.
Yeah.
So that's main meal. So when you have this corn main meal, what do you eat it with?
Oh yeah, you eat it with all sorts of things. You can eat it with beef stew, chicken stew, vegetables or beans, and we use our hands to eat it.
Really?
Well,
She's
yeah.
already salivating. Can you imagine? She loves food.
Yeah. You can eat it with fish and things like that. So
Okay, so you better ask for an invitation so you can go to his house and have some. Since because he's
oh
dreaming.
yes, yeah.
All right.
I have that every time.
Okay, so now after the main food, what about snacks?
Well,
What?
traditionally you wouldn't say because again of the different ethnic groupings. What could be considered as snacks varies from one region to another.
Okay.
Where I come from in the south, we have what we call it's samp. I think the English name is samp. Again, it's from maize,
Okay.
but it's not pounded into a powder, right? It's still dry maize pounded a bit, and then you boil it. You can eat it with, you can put groundnuts in there and all those other things, or you can eat it with sour milk. In my language, we call it musoya, right?
Musoya.
Musoya.
That almost sounds like a name in Nigeria.
What's the name?
Musoya means
Akinsoya. You know, say Akinsoya. It's like Musoya, Akinsoya. That's a name. Soya is a name in Nigeria.
Suya.
No, and
so.
suya is a food. So
Okay. So musoya is the word musoya means trying, right? So when you go to the village, right, before you have the nsima or soup, they'll give you musoya to say you are trying. So that's like a snack. Right? But in other parts of Zambia, people would have roasted peanuts as a snack.
Yeah.
Roasted cassava, roasted or even cooked cassava, roasted sweet potatoes or cooked sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I read that Zambians are very massive in terms of agriculture, and you guys are very, very massive in terms of mining, copper mining.
Yes.
So I can really understand why your snacks is along the sides of peanuts and potatoes.
I think maybe all the copper in history came from Zambia.
Ask him, did all the copper in history come from Zambia? I'll be so proud of that. If all the minerals from my country.
You're not too far off.
She's not too far off.
Zambia, yes. Zambia and the Congo are the biggest producers of copper in the world. Well, one of the in the top 5, definitely.
Wow.
Of copper.
And
you know the funny thing, that is all what the colonial master came for.
Exactly.
That's all they came for.
Exactly.
The riches.
Yes. We've got a whole province.
Yeah.
We've got a whole province which is called the Copper Belt, which is where copper is being mined.
And it's close to the railway, right?
Yes, of course. Very close to the railway.
So they can just pack it away.
Yes.
the railway was made for that. Just goose it up. Right. So now that we've talked about food, snacks, can you tell us about greetings? And we are very massive about greetings and how do you demonstrate respect in Zambia?
Okay. Again, I'll talk about my tribe.
Yeah.
Right. Where I come from. The greeting is very, very elaborate, right? I wish I had someone to demonstrate with here. But essentially, what you do is if you're in a group, right?
Yeah.
You are visiting, there's a group, right? You don't just greet one person, right?
Yeah.
You have to greet everyone in that group, right? And the series like this, I'll demonstrate, right? So person one will say, I'll use my language. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. Person one will say, Mwabuga buti, and then there will be a bit of silence, right? Then I'll respond to say, Gabotu. Then the other person will say, hmm. Then I'll ask them as well, Mwabuga buti. Then they will respond to say, Ndiri Gabotu. So if I translate that in English, it will be like, good morning. And then the next person will say, good morning. Then I'll respond, Then the other person will say, how are you?
So the greetings is like call and respond. The
Exactly.
greetings is like a duty that you have to perform the duty.
Exactly. And then you go, if I've greeted one person here, right? Then the next person will go there and there, there and there and there. And then in terms of
she said this is her favorite greeting on the show. But you know, Eddie, for me, that's so important to show that is the aspect that builds the community spirit.
Yes.
That's the aspect that brings the bonding, because you are listening.
Yes.
You are listening and responding to the other party.
Exactly. So it's not just a generic hi, how are you? No.
Exactly.
It's quite elaborate. Actually, if you didn't know how to greet, it's not looked upon very well. Yeah,
wow.
because
Did you hear that? You need to go and learn some greetings from Eddie.
So if you're from the city, for example, and someone comes, Mwabugabuti, and you just say, Gawot Mwabugabutu, they'll look at you and say, what's wrong with this person? Because you're only supposed to say certain things slowly, deliberately, asking probing questions. So you start by asking how the person is, then you ask how their family is, and things like that, and all of that.
And you know, Eddie, one more thing about that is it doesn't just stop at just greeting. You also know about other people's welfare.
Yes.
And so in that kind of community, you have less of mental illness, because everybody is aware and everybody understands and everybody interacts. And you know, there is an African adage that says it takes a village to raise a child. So it's a cooperative spirit that brings everybody to a form of understanding of who they are as a community, and where they are heading to as a community. You know that person's family's family. You know what is happening. On the flip side, there could be a lot of gossip that comes along with it, but but that brings a lot of community spirit. And so
for respect, there's a tribe, that other tribes in Zambia. Could you hold this from me? The people from the west and the northwest. There is a lot of clapping that's involved, which is what you can see, like in you see in Zimbabwe as well.
Yeah.
Right? So there'll be a lot of. Can you see me on the video? Right?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
So a lot of this.
When they are greeting.
Yes, when they're greeting.
Oh, I can't wait to speak to Zimbabwe. Your wife must come on the show.
When I go to my in-laws, they are greeting me, Makadini. They'll be clapping. I probably said, my wife saying I said it wrong, but then I also have to. No, apparently I'm clapping wrong. There's a way you clap.
You know the funniest thing, my Scottish friends, you need to learn about us so much. You have a lot to learn about Africans, because we are so beautiful and unique with each culture. And so it's not like just taking Scotland and having a general culture. You are unique with every individual aspect, and that's the beauty about Africa, and that's something that I'm proud of. That everybody has his own uniqueness, and everybody can stand on his own identity. And I really pray that kids out there appreciate that aspect about us, to be unique, to say this is who I am and I'm special. In my land, we greet like this. In my land, we greet like this. You understand? So it's, you see all this kind of mixture, and I'm really, really pleased about Africa.
Yes.
So let's quickly move to what else. Clothing. Please tell us about dressing. Dressing. How is dressing like?
It varies. The one I can give an illustration of is, if you can look this up.
Yeah.
Look for the Lozi people of
Lozi.
Zambia. Lozi people. They actually, there's a link to Scotland, because these people actually wear kilts.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It was it David Livingstone that did that to them?
I'm not sure. but they've got a chief. It's a bit like a kingdom of itself and things like that. And they've got elaborate clothing which they usually wear on the traditional ceremony called the Kuomboka ceremony.
Would that be similar to what Ghanaians have as kente?
Yes, it's similar. It's in the same line. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but it's quite an elaborate piece of garment. You know, there's a kilt, and then very colorful tops. They've got a hat and things like that.
And that is close to what South Africans have too. South Africans have this.
Yes. Now that's a very good point.
Yeah.
What you realize is that, remember how I said Zambia is full of Bantu-speaking people?
Yeah.
Right? Zambia, a lot of guys in Zambia were influenced a lot of things which were happening in that region, right? So remember I said you find that we've got relations with people around us, right?
Yes.
This tribe that I mentioned here, the Lozi people, right? They had interactions with the people, with the Zulu people, right? I don't know if you've heard of Shaka Zulu.
Yes.
And the wars that was fighting. When Shaka Zulu was fighting all those wars, his influence went as far as Western Zambia, right?
Wow.
As well as Eastern Zambia.
Wow.
So you find that their practices and some of the things they do, you find them in the Zulu. Actually, there's another tribe called the Ngonis or Ngunis, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the traditional attire that the Ngunis or Ngonis wear, it's the exact same as the Zulus of South Africa.
So who gave to who? Is it the Zambia part that gave it to the Zulu, or the Zulu that transferred it to the Zambia?
So think of it this way, that they all came from the same part.
Okay.
And just spread out.
And spread out. I see.
So they took the traditions from that pit and went.
It's like saying in Nigeria that the Yoruba started in Ile-Ife and then spread out to Benin Kingdom and started Benin, or that kind of thing. I see. Yeah. I see.
So on the northern part, I don't know whether it was you or one of the J's who mentioned about Congo, right?
Yes.
In the Congo region, there used to be what you call the Luva-Lunda Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Traditions and things of that Luva-Lunda Kingdom, they spread out and they go to the northern part of Zambia and northwestern part of Zambia, right?
Wow.
So you find that there are some languages that are spoken in the Congo, which are also spoken in northwestern Zambia. And languages that are spoken in the northern part of Zambia, they're also spoken in Tanzania and things like that.
And you know, Eddie, this is one of the things I've been educating the girls about. That Africa would have just been better off without the divide.
Oh yes, definitely.
Because all this confusion that part of you is in Zambia, part of you is in Congo, part of you is in South Africa, part of it would have just been a simple way of just moving around between tribes.
You know, my own grouping yeah, the
Yeah.
Tonga people, right?
Yeah.
You find Tonga people in Zambia, you find them in Zimbabwe,
Oh.
you find them in Mozambique.
That this divide is just
Yes.
it's just annoying. It's just like saying that you find Yoruba people in Benin and you
Yes.
find them in Cameroon, and you're like,
Yes.
well, all of us are the same thing, for goodness sake. Or you find northern people in Mali and they're also in Nigeria and they're everywhere. You know, I was the I'll use the word brother. The doctor that came from Gambia was telling us about their food. And he
Yes.
was telling us that jollof rice actually started from Gambia. And we are having a laugh. And like, he's everywhere. And Senegalese will say, no, jollof rice started from Senegalese. And Nigerians will say, everybody, shut up. Jollof rice belongs to Nigeria. So there's this, it's just the same kind of food along that coast. But
Yes.
because of the divide, there
Yes.
is this who started what. But I
Exactly.
think it's just the same set of people that we have as forefathers,
Yes.
if we
That's
trace
true.
it very well.
That's very true. What I've realized actually recently, I've been reading a lot of books
Yeah.
which are talking about the Ghanaians,
Yeah.
you know, the Ashanti,
Yeah.
and
Kingdom.
I forget the other grouping now. It will come to me. But what
Yeah.
I've realized is that a lot of their customs and the way their cultures and things like that,
Yeah.
they're very similar to us. Very, very similar.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
think Africa should just come back to one big continent.
Oh yeah.
And just, I don't know how that will ever be possible, but I think for a better restructuring and a better unity and a better use of our resources as a continent, it's better it's just one continent with different large tribes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So, girls, any other question for Eddie?
Music?
Music.
Ah,
Yeah, music. What do we have as music from Zambia? What happened to the voice? The voice, the volume is gone. Uh-oh, no, we can't hear you, Eddie. You've muted the mic. We can't hear you. Oh, something is wrong. Can you speak? Oh no, I'm missing him. Okay, so while we try to resolve this, I'm really loving this conversation. Although we've used up all the time we have, but I think I just want to keep talking to Eddie. He has really educated us today, not just about Zambia, but he has educated us about many other parts of Africa. And I'm pleased to say we need just the joy of knowing that we're Africans. And for me, for the past few months I've been doing this, my knowledge about Southern Africa have increased so massively. Knowing that they are all my brothers and sisters, we have the same heritage, we have the same thing. And I just really beg all Africans, if we can come together as one, you understand, and explore the beauty of our continent together. Can you speak? Let me hear. But if you can't hear, you can just log out and log in if it's not coming on. So, girls, before it comes, it's going to tell us about music. What do you think it's going to talk about? Instruments. You want to hear about the instruments? So they want to hear about the instrument. But if we can't get him back today, we have really had fun talking. Did you have fun talking? Can you tell me one thing you learned from Zambia today?
I learned in Zambia that it's very, like, you know, the snacks. It's very, like, it's a bit the same to, like, the food you eat.
Wow. Okay.
So, like, they're both from maize.
Oh, they are the main meal and the snack are both from maize. That's interesting, because in Nigeria, even in the northern part of Nigeria, they have the snack and the main food and the snack from the same source. So that's interesting. Maize. Yeah, in northern Nigeria. So they have millets, they have maize, they have all kinds of things, which are also like things what he mentioned. And for me, it was interesting to see the connections between Zambia and all the other countries around them. And we talk about Victoria Falls. I am looking so forward to watching that, to seeing that. So girls, maybe we'll be thinking about exploring Africa, right? When we are boxed up, right? Boxed up. Boxed up. Boxed up. We don't know what boxed up is. Boxed up means when we have a lot of money, right? We are still on the program. Okay, it's right. So we are still on the. So when we have a lot of money, or maybe we'll start raising money to travel, so be exploring Africa. So let's bring have to buy what?
We can hear you.
We can hear you now. Thank you.
Great.
So I want to know about music and the instruments you use in Zambia.
So I'll talk about two kinds. There's a lot, but I'll talk about two types.
Yeah.
Generally, everyone uses drums, lots of drums.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about two types. There's an instrument that is used in the western part of Zambia. It's called the malimba. It looks like the xylophone. You know what the xylophone is?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah,
there's a guy in our school who plays it.
Okay, there's a guy in your school that plays xylophone.
No,
Mwiinga. That plays that instrument.
Is
it from Africa?
No.
Wow. That's interesting.
Oh yes. Oh yes. The malimba and the Lozi people use it. In the southern part of Zambia,
yeah,
there's a kind of music which we call Wiyavila.
Wiyavila.
Yes. I say that is the origin of hip hop music, because the way it goes, if you actually go on YouTube and look for Tonga music Zambia or something like that.
Yes.
It's beautiful. You see, there's an instrument which you use. It's a drum, essentially. But within the drum, there's a hole that's been made on the actual top of the drum. But inside, then there's a stick. And then where you put your hand inside the hollow part of the drum, the big part of the drum. And then as you are pulling that stick, it makes a sound which goes like woo, 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 right? And then what we do, I'll give you an illustration, right?
Yeah.
So I'll start off by like praising myself, right?
Yeah.
I'll go like, oh, my name is Eddie Mwiinga. I live in Scotland. I'm the son of SBC Mwiinga, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll go, woo, 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 woo. Then I'll go say, oh, you people of Scotland, listen to what I have to sing. This is beautiful and wonderful. Woo, 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 woo. And then I'll say the next thing again. Woo, 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 woo. It's really, it's powerful. And this music is played, as part of celebration, but also as part of funerals, right? There is no way, I can guarantee you, if you attend a Tonga funeral and you listen to a Tonga man play that instrument and sing that song, there's no way you listen to that and not shed tears.
Because it's like he's saying bye-bye to the dead.
Exactly.
And then the way he will mourn. It's like that. So literally, instead of crying, they played the instrument to mourn the person away.
Exactly. But it's very poetic. The lyrics that are used are very, very poetic. And it's not just at funerals, but you can talk about any side of things. Yeah. But other parts of Zambia, as I said, there's a lot of other kind of music. But I just decided to pick those two.
And my girls, especially BJ, she's very keen about musical instruments and music. And I think that's where the question comes from. So when you said Zambia is like the origin of hip hop or pop music, tell us about that. Tell us more about that.
No, that's the thing. What I was illustrating there, the poetry of Wiyavira and the fact that you actually, the singing is not the same singing whereby you are continually singing. It's akin to rapping, right? The way we are beat is akin to
Yeah.
rapping, right? Um,
So
so that's what I
it's
said.
not like lyrical or like the way they sing generally. So it's like you are
Exactly.
saying words.
Yeah.
Yes, you're saying words, but there are also musical background with the words.
Exactly. That's the way that rap does it.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
rap is not like
Yeah, do you want to
you know,
inside me? If you want to inside me, that'd be good. Right.
yeah.
And I think I have the last question, dressing.
Uh-huh.
How is the dressing in Zambia? I'm really keen about that.
All right.
Already done that.
No, we've not done dressing.
No, we spoke. Yeah, we spoke a bit about the dressing of the kilts from the guys in the western part.
Because we're saying something and we got into that. But what about your tribe? What's the traditional dressing from your own tribe?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. There's no, you know, like you have in the West where you've got the what do you call them? You know those materials, clothing. I don't know what you call it.
The Ankara and all those.
Yeah. There isn't much of that, but one of the sects of in the south, right? So within my Tonga tribe, they've got we've got three other tribes, so to speak. So in the Tonga grouping, there's three other groups. The Ilas, who are more warriors as well.
Yes.
Their dressing is close to the dressing of the people in the West.
Okay.
You know, so they'll have some barrettes and a kilt of some sort. Right?
Is that because of the influence of colonialism, or it has been that even before the colonial master came?
So for the for my tribe,
yeah,
right, we are different in that the way we were organized was we didn't have any central government per se. Right? So we are set up in small groups, right?
Okay.
We didn't have a chief.
Yeah.
We didn't have a king. So you have a small community where you had someone who was in charge of the land in that community, right? Then all those different communities will be brought together by one person who was the spiritual leader. Okay, so there was a spiritual leader who would look after the affairs of that community, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, there wasn't any one common form of saying dressing and things. The things that brought the different communities together was a spiritual leader. And so every so often we'd go to a shrine where you'd pray for rains and things like that. There was a club.
Yeah.
Whereas for other parts of Zambia, because they had the centralized government and all those things stretched out, you see that they've got distinctive way of dressing, distinctive way of doing certain things. So people actually tell you that the Tonga actually means independent. Because we are very independent people looking after ourselves and not being subject to any kind of ruler, things like that. As a matter of fact, when the colonizers came, that was one of the difficulties they had, because they felt, well, these people, they can fend for themselves, so they actually don't see the need for us, right? So when they were coming up and maybe taking some of our lands and things like that, and then they gave land to themselves, to their settlers, right?
Yeah.
And then left land to the locals. The locals continued tilling their own land for fending for themselves. So the settlers came in, but they didn't have workers to say who's going to work for us. So what they ended up doing, they'll go to the villages and say, no, you have to come and work. And people were refusing until they started forcing them, right?
Ah,
Into some, it's a slavery. It was called
yes,
Jgirls, right?
yes,
So they would force people to go work for them and stuff like that. But then they found that when the people would go work for them, but then when they go for the weekend, they don't return, right? Because when they go, they've got their own land, they've got their own cattle, they've got their own food. I don't need to go and work for anyone else.
exactly, yeah,
And with the passage of time as well, um, as that was a big problem for the settlers, as it were. So a lot of land which had been given to the settlers was abandoned, right? And then the locals started going into that land and tilting it to the extent that there were some local farmers who were even bigger than the settler population, the colonizers
yeah,
population. And that was giving them an issue to say, well, this guy is so rich, he's got even more cows than us. And,
yeah.
uh, and so how can we colonize him, right? So that's the thing about us, the Tongas. We're independent. We never had any system say this is a chief, this is what. People just come together in a small community. You are given a small piece of land. Go and till, go and grow your crops, start raising your own cows. That's you are economically independent.
So Eddie, you need to come back and tell us how that affected how that affected your people compared to the centralized people today, because I know that those basic influence would have affected nowadays. I'm looking forward to inviting you again to talk to us, but she's really scratching her body and saying we have passed the time, we have passed the
Yeah.
time. She's a timekeeper. Every time you watch this program, towards the end, she's already like, the time has passed. The time has passed. So we want to really say thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation. We are going to continue next time. So, guys, I want you to, if you're listening to us, keep at home. Parents, guardians, we are going to invite Eddie once more. We've not finished the story. Possibly, he's going to come back with his wife next. He's going to come back with his wife next time, and then we'll continue this discussion between the friendship of Zambia and Zimbabwe. Possibly they will tell us how the romance started between the two countries. But
Oh, yeah.
let's leave that for another day. So thank you, Jed. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to having you once again. And children and everybody at home, thank you for joining us. And we appreciate you coming today. Until next week, Saturday, when we shall see you again on our Couch Talk. Bye-bye.